Welcome back to What Do We Know? I didn't even know the title, apparently. We're not ready for this. We're not ready for this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Today we are going to talk about Taylor and the Tortured Poets Department. And we found a great quote that I wanted to start with to explain Taylor to you. If you don't know about Taylor, I don't know where you live. I don't know. And I'm sure you have an opinion and you might just not be listening at all.
There's still some that don't know.
That's weird.
I'm dating one of them.
I'm sure that a lot of people will probably not listen to the podcast again because we're talking about Taylor, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Or maybe new people are here. Welcome if you're new. I found an awesome explanation of Taylor. So we'll start with this. I don't know who posted it, so I can't quote them, but they said, imagine Michael Jackson or the Beatles having a baby with Nancy Drew. Then the baby was raised by Julia Child, a pack of sweater-wearing woodland creatures, and John Walsh of America's Most Wanted. It grows up to have an enviable wit, a roaring stage presence, an insatiable drive to be number one, a gift for songwriting, and an openness for solving mysteries and dropping clues. All while making time, of course, to make cinnamon rolls from scratch. This is the enigma of Taylor Swift. Just when you think you've figured her out, she surprises you because her biggest fear is to be average. And one thing about Taylor, she doesn't lose. 31 songs later, I tend to agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about?
I did see something. Oh,
go.
Do
What?
it.
I did see something funny about
Whatever
the
Jolie wants to say, she gets to say today, and she will interrupt us because
she doesn't have much input on this.
She has not fallen into the 6-day rabbit hole that Ashley and I have fallen into. So Jolie gets the floor whenever she wants.
No, I did
Jolie,
see a funny
I literally
thing.
told the guy at Left Schwab Tires today that I was from Florida because I had just listened to the song in my headphones, and he goes, I thought you were from Arizona. And I was like, yes, I'm definitely from Arizona. But I emphatically was like,
oh
I
my
don't have
gosh,
time for that. I am from Florida. And
that's
anyway,
so funny.
This is how bad it is. So yes, you have the floor. Go, tell us.
Okay, so I did see a funny, I don't know if you know who the Holdernesses are. They're like the little funny couple. Yeah, okay, so she did that post where she's like, me when I can't sleep is hot flashes and menopause. Taylor, when she can't sleep, writes 31 songs and drops a, top charting album. And I'm like, yeah, that's, I don't know. I was like, I relate to that. Me tossing and turning, watching TV when I can't sleep, and Taylor's up writing and journaling and making millions.
Yeah. It's
anyway, I thought that was funny because
yes,
there's something funny. Relatable for me.
No, it's totally relatable. I think we actually could dive in there to what's going on social media. I mean, if you just hit the Reels button at the bottom of your Instagram, maybe one of 10 Reels is not going to have one of her new songs in it. And they're all hilarious. People, I am so it's fun because we live in such a weird, nasty time right now that it almost has been a fun escape because the Reels are so funny, the people are so funny, the theories are so wild, and some are real and some are not, obviously. But I mean, when we were golfing the other day, Jolie, I was showing you the Tums commercial, and it was it was the Tortured Tummies Department, and I mean,
yeah,
the American Red Cross. It's so funny, and it's she's she is the epitome of capitalism, in such a good way. There was a Instagram post I saw today, and it was a picture of, I created Apple, I created Facebook, I created TikTok, and it was, everybody lined up and it was just their faces. And then there was no words on the next one, and it's just a picture of Andrea. I created Taylor, but there were not even words on it. They didn't even put what she created because she's such a force. These things like TikTok and Apple and all this stuff. She's
I don't know
no
who
words.
Andrea is.
Oh, Andrea's her mom.
Oh, okay.
Look in the boxes. The Swifties are in one box. This, by the way, I want to raise your hand if you made Tiffany a Swiftie. That would be Jolie needs to raise her hand. This is all 100% your fault. When I've loved her with my kids, and then Jolie took me to that stupid movie, and it was
it's you've been transformed into this I don't even know.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But that's how I grew up. I think it took me back. It was something I don't know, it was weird. Like it totally took me back to when I was a kid. Like now I'm really gonna sound, dumb and young, but Bone Thugs-n-Harmony had an album come out. Okay, their rap songs are very fast. Do you even know who that is, Jolie?
This doesn't sound even vaguely familiar.
1997. Okay, Bone Thugs-n-Harmony have an album come out. We run to Tower Records, we pick up our record, we go home. You pull out like your lyrics, and we all had a contest, like whoever the first one is that can memorize this song, whatever it was, I don't remember. But it was like, I think it kind of like harkens back to like, that was so pure, so fun, like I just think that it kind of puts you back in that space. And then the kids grew up to all that stuff. So it was like, oh, I totally see it. It was actually her dancers in that show and just the way that they all like it was so I was so fascinated in the Eras tour. I was so fascinated by the show. It wasn't even
she's a good
her music, but that show was so fascinating to me that I think that it was like, oh, I like all this.
Yeah,
I knew most of it, but then it was the other stuff, like her songs that she sang that weren't as popular, or whatever. And then I dove in, and then it was like, oh, because I've always been like, everything relates to a lyric with me, but I never really dove into her stuff. And so I think after that movie, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then my kids love it, and Ben loves it with the girls. So then it's just been horrible since then.
It's just been horrible.
Yeah.
It's just taken over.
I blame you. I blame you, Julie. Anyway.
So
where were you? Well, the night when it came out and we had set our alarms and you were exhausted.
Because we had golf that day. Julie and I had golf.
And I had an alarm. I was asleep. I had my AirPods right there ready to go. I put them in, and this was at 10 o'clock our time.
9. That's what Jolie texted me, and she's like, it's 9 o'clock, right? I'm like, yes, I know.
So that's what it was, because I woke up at 10.
I mean, to be fair, I was like, went to bed at 8:30.
For it? No.
We were exhausted.
I was already asleep. So that tells you, I mean, I was like, I'm not missing this moment. You talked about, that was my 6th grade when No Strings Attached dropped. I was like, I will buy this.
That NSYNC?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
And it was,
hey, yo.
You know. And it brought me to that moment of like, I'm buying this record probably at Target, CD, and I have to be the first one to have it, and I've got to take it to school, and I have to be in those numbers of like, remember, it'd be like they sold X amount, millions the first week, and I was like, I have to be one of those people. And so I was like, the minute this drops, I have to listen to it. Fall asleep listening to it, and then we wake up the next morning, and I was like,
I had set my alarm to get up at the what time? 2?
The 2, but
I couldn't even make it to then. No. I fell asleep 15 minutes before the anthology came out.
Yeah, no. But that was
I can't even think of a single music experience album where
which surprised me because you're very artistic, but maybe that's just not your medium. And
it's
music was my
music
medium.
Is not my thing. So for a book, like if there's a new book, like I want to be the first to get the new book.
It's the same idea.
Sometimes there's a movie that I have literally like went to go see at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
like that. Like it's the same thing. I don't do it with music for whatever reason. But I do like know, like if there's a book coming out, like I pre-order or I get, I mean, before you could pre-order, then I'd get to the bookstore before, as soon as it came out.
It's so fun.
It's the same experience as when people would line up to watch the new Star Wars when they would come out, and they would skip school for it. Like, I think that's probably what the nostalgia for us is, because everyone's coming together.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it. It's unifying.
It is super fun because London is waiting for me to get home. I'm out of town right now. Obviously, I'm with Ashley. We're in the same place, staring at beautiful green trees with flowers on them. It's so lovely here, even though it's rainy. But it is so fun. London isn't into it yet because she's like, I gotta wait for you to get home, and she had prom and stuff, so we
Which is a whole
haven't gotten to
experience
connect.
in
Yeah,
itself. She'll remember
but
that forever.
Ben and I had it on the big screen TV. We were just sat on the couch and we didn't say a word to each other. We can actually talk about my mini jump scares in these songs. This was so cool. I feel like this, I don't know if it's different. She's always like when she's her own background vocals, like she's like bold when she's singing her background vocals, but like in The Smallest Man, we pull up the lyrics, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, but when the screaming part is in Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. And if you haven't,
Smallest Man Who Ever Lives, or is it the screaming part in Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
No. Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. She says the word screaming, and it's screaming. And it was me sitting on the couch, and we're just like, and then I'm, oh my gosh. Like, it was just like, yeah, it was so crazy to like hear these things, because I felt like everybody's like, it just sounds like the same album. She always sings the same thing. And I'm like, zero chance. I felt like there were like these jump scares. And if you listen to the beginning of these songs and didn't go all the way through, or at least 3/4 of the way, you're going to miss this bridge, and you would be like, this is boring. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Love of My Life is boring. And then you get to this bridge into it. And I was like, oh, I actually really, every day my favorite song has changed over the past 6 days.
If you don't get to the end, you're not going to get to Loss of My Life.
Sure.
And you're like, oh God.
But this is Old Habits Die Screaming. But I also didn't know that they did lyric videos like right at the beginning. I should have totally gone through and listened to the whole thing with the lyric videos, because her team is wild with the lyric videos, and it like I don't know how you put lyrics on a screen and bring a song to life, but it's insane. It's like, this is as good as a music video because of the bold, and like when it like does like a boom, 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 like the letters go like here, here, here. That might actually be super entertaining too, because of the art piece in it.
True.
Yeah.
The visual of the words is so artistic. It was crazy. So it was, it's been funny. But that one, so we had a mini jump scare in The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. And then obviously Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, which is, can she please put that in the Eras Tour? That's freaking crazy. I don't even know how she would sing that live.
I mean, we're all doing it in our car. She's just better at it.
That's true. I usually sing I definitely take the alto line on those, because it's wild. And Black Dog has a jump scare in it too. No, that's Old Habits Die Screaming is in Black Dog. What are we at? The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
We're looking at the lyrics, by the way.
I'm reading the lyrics, right now. Yes. Oh, here. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Do you sleep with the gun under your bed? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? And the jump scare on that, the mini jump scare, I don't know what else to call them, on that definitely comes when you're watching the lyric video, because it's just like, did somebody send you, it's like popping up like all these things in different fonts all over the screen. Like, were you a sleeper cell spy? Did you have a gun under our bed? Like, who are you? Where did you come from? And it's just wild to like watch those lyrics. So anyways, those were fun. That was super fun. And that's very different. I felt like that was super different than anything that I've heard from her albums.
And it comes in louder on YouTube through my speakers in the car than Spotify or Apple.
Yeah. And
I don't know why YouTube sounds so much better.
And the platforms all sound different. And they all have, like, the Apple has the Dolby, which is weird. If you turn your phone sideways, it literally feels like the music is going around in a circle. Sound. It's so weird.
Oh, that's
so
weird.
Dolby. What are they calling it? Dolby Digital Surround or something? Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Spotify's the quietest on mine.
I have not even turned her on Spotify.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad, because Spotify sent out letters to like the first listeners and all this stuff that how'd you know? Oh, bummer.
Lame.
I forget how to turn that off. I do that in Jolie's car all the time. Yeah. I switch the song because I'm always talking with my hands, and I switch her.
That's so funny.
Radio around in her car. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we talked about the marketing. Okay, here we go. This'll bore you too. Ashley, how about this? Ash, you put this question in here. Is But Daddy I Love Him referring to Travis at the end? And go ahead.
I think there's so many. So But Daddy I Love Him, there's been the theory that it's a picture written about The Little Mermaid. that's not even necessarily her, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
They say, you know, Harry Styles wore a Little Mermaid shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that. Because she's done that before.
Mhm.
She weaves in
Oh,
stories all the time.
We've seen some theories where Harry's in other places in the album too, for
Yes,
sure.
which he
Just little
could be.
nods to
But
him.
how, when you have those experiences when they're universal, it could be 3 different guys.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't.
I've
it could
only
be-
heard Maddie Healy. That's the only one I've heard.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
there's-
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jake is, if we want to go through all of them, the
Well,
manuscript
is about
her directing the 10-minute All Too Well video. So it's her looking back on her experience with Jake Gyllenhaal. So for those that don't know, the entire album Red is about Jake Gyllenhaal. So that is in there for sure. But I mean, there's experiences that could be any one of them. But one theory, one question, hypothesis is but Daddy, I love him. Well, backtrack. What they really think is it's her talking to psycho Swifties and being like, get off me. I'm going to do what I want. You guys are crazy and don't tell me what to do. It's my life.
Right.
So that's probably what it is.
That was the interesting thing that my daughter's fiance said when they got in the car and just drove around and listened to it. And I mean, I don't know how often she makes them listen to Taylor Swift. Probably a lot, but they got in the car and drove around to listen to this one. And he said that, I think it was that song where he was like, the amount of times that she, what do they call it? Breaks the
fourth wall.
Fourth wall. Yeah. Where she is talking to her audience, and she does that a lot. But like that song in particular, he was like, it's so interesting. Like, I think for him, that was a connecting point. Like, he's not necessarily a fan or whatever, but he was like, that's just fascinating.
Yes.
To him, that she does that. And so,
yeah. It was a huge theme in this whole album. Huge theme in this whole album.
And it doesn't like deter people from listening. Like, it's so fascinating.
It brings you in. That's the magic that she's easily, I think, the best to do it.
Oh, well, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's it's really good. I think it's really good. And I think it actually, as listeners, makes you stop and pause and be like, that's really interesting how we do treat media, famous people, you know what I mean? Anybody that we quote unquote, I don't want to use the word idolize, I don't like that word, but anybody that we are, I guess, fanatical about, or a fan of. That's a better word. Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
There's
and it's
a part where she's like, sit down, shut up, listen. Like that's where she breaks the fourth wall. She's directly talking to the audience. It's really well done. So that is what it's probably about. But
this is where
fun idea was how they wove Travis.
Yeah, and this is why I think so, because the whole time she says here, I'm his lady. And that changes from when she said,
or that my dad loves him.
Yeah, she did say that. But up here, the whole entire song, she says, I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. I'm having his baby, but no, I'm not. It's when she's like, I'm just going to make crap up and watch you guys react. And then at the end, in the last one, it gets much sweeter. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like she's now in the present. And she says,
she let the sound quiet down, is what she's saying. She's like, we got away. We let it quiet down.
Well, now, and she says, like, this now is when it starts when she says, all the wine moms are holding out. Screw them. It's over. Now I'm dancing in my dress in the sun. Even my daddy loves him. I'm his lady. And you should see your faces. Like, you're still freaking out, but I'm not just making up crap now. Now I'm actually his, but you're still reacting like crazy people. It's super interesting. So I could totally see that theory being.
If that's what it is, like, I've dated these bad boys and you've watched this whole thing and now I'm with the one. So she's saying time doesn't it gives some perspective and now you can't come to my wedding. You can't come to my wedding. I know he's crazy, but he's the one I want, which Trav's a little
Oh,
crazy,
he's totally crazy.
but like fun crazy. I'll tell you something right. This is where she's like, sit down. I'll tell you something right now. Oh, no. That's further back.
Yeah. Same
you ain't
thing,
gotta
though.
pray for me and my wild boy, this wild joy, which is so Trav. Guarantee this is about him. I mean, who knows? It's all inspired by what's going on, but the message is very clear. Like
it's fun. And definitely the tone changes and the words change.
Yes.
From the beginning, where it's clearly about Maddie.
Well, some people thought it was Harry because they thought it was a miscarriage reference.
Yeah, no.
We don't think so anymore.
I don't think so.
No. Could be anything.
It could be.
We don't know. We have no idea.
You asked why was Emma Stone credited on the song Florida?
Yeah,
was your
what
question?
is
It was the
her
movie that just came out.
oddities?
It's the movie that just came out. Do you know what that movie was called? The one with Emma Stone that won the
Her Big Eyes or what? Something about.
It was really
know the
weird.
movie.
Well,
It was
good friends, aren't they?
They are good friends, but I do know the movie. I just was
I'll show
listening
you
to an interview.
Cover
So-
of Poor Things, and look at
Oh,
her
Poor Things,
in
that's
Poor
right.
Things. I mean, it's totally the same vibe.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it looks exact. Look at that, like
Yeah, okay. Because so why did they credit in Florida? The song is called Florida, but why'd they give her the credit on that one then?
I have no idea. I mean, because it's a similar look to
Fortnite
video.
I wonder why they did it on that. Nobody knows what it means. Like, what does it say? Contributing oddities? I put it in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, contributing oddities.
And maybe her look was a.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Something. I hope we find that one out someday. But that's cool.
Yeah,
That means if this wins any awards, Emma is part of
it's kind of fun. Yeah,
the awards.
because they're buddies.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
we talked about how on different apps, it has different sounds.
Yeah.
We went through that.
should we talk about the crap with Alex yesterday?
Yeah.
Well, it started a couple days ago. So Alex Clark, I'm going to link. We're not going to. That's why we're not going through all the lyrics or anything, because she already did. And we'll link, if you care, we'll link her analysis on the full. There's 2 parts, and it's the full anthology. She goes through with lyric genius and goes through like literally every single word and what she thinks all the meanings are. She does a great job. It's
good,
but it's
That's a
so
lot.
like Ben sat there and listened to the whole thing with me. She is so flipping funny. It was so entertaining.
But she's thorough as heck. But what's also really neat, I enjoyed listening to her because she is a very similar age to Taylor in a very similar time of her life where she's yearning for. Okay, so for people listening to this album, there's a huge theme that Taylor is lamenting the sadness of being in a relationship that she thought she'd be married and having children with a man she was with for 6 years. And now she's 34. And Alex is saying the same thing. She's like, I know, I've been there. I can't tell you how like sad I feel. Like one of the lines is, all my friends smell like weed or little babies. And she's like, yeah, she's like, not that my friends smell like weed, but my friend, they're
that's
in
a
a little
true
baby world.
Yeah, that's such a true statement though, because I have girls that age, and you like, it's true. You're either
partying.
Literally, I mean, like I would say, like my older girls, I wouldn't even call them partiers. It's just if they don't have babies, they're probably smoking weed. Not like because they're out partying, just because that's their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well, and also, what does Florida smell like? Like, like he's talking about Destin. Like, this isn't.
But that's just like, I feel like that's a true statement.
I think it's a great. I think it's I think it's such a good picture.
That's true in my own house.
Yeah.
Well, she's sad. She wants to be married. And she's like, I struck out again. And there's what's that song? How did it end?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, how many times have I been the topic with my friends where they're like, you know, they're married and they can go home and lament to their husbands or break it down or be like, but Alex, here we go again. Like, oh, what happened? What happened this time? And she's like, it's so embarrassing. So to hear her perspective from when people are like, I just don't get it. Well, it wasn't written for you. Maybe it was written, I think, for herself, for Taylor's own.
Well, I even love
art.
at the very, it might be in your book. Do you want to hold on? Pause. Would you like to show us the albums?
I've got the different albums. And here's the thing. I was just looking through them. Like, it's cool. It's cool. I like all the lyrics. I like the poem at the beginning by Stevie Nicks. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I do like Stevie Nicks. So that's cool. And then just her hand, like, I'm assuming this is her handwriting in here, random places. But the one thing that struck me about the album, the inside, is all the pictures of her. Well, first, they're like different in both the different albums. Because what do I have? I have the manuscript and I have
the bolter.
And the pictures are different. Like, they're not, the insides are not the same. They're different. But what I'm struck by
again, marketing genius.
Yeah. Because now I'm like, oh, what different ones are there? Like, I need all the different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point.
The point. It's like that.
Point. Like,
again, that feeling of like collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like collecting. But also, okay, now I'm filling out. I love when they're clear. Gosh, I love when they're clear. That's like my favorite.
Yes, the Phantom album. So pretty.
That's so cool. But is she's so modest.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know you love that about her.
Yes, I do love that about her. I mean, I don't love how often she swears, because I know, and you said listen to the clean. I can do that, because that's not my favorite.
I know, but it is beautiful, and she does. I mean, it's not like every single word. Fine. It's just the two big words. It's the SH word and the F word. That's it. Everything else.
It's just sometimes I'm like, that's hard to sing along to when you say it so many times. But I do love even like the cover, even when she's like laying on the bed, and it's like you think, but she's still very covered. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Like, I don't have to see her butt, and I don't have to see her boobs, and I do love that about her. I do really like that about her. Like, she's not changing. I feel like she's grown up, and I said this earlier. I feel like she's sharing her journal like since she was 13, and you can see the progression of her deepening her thoughts and deepening her thought process and like her maturity. But she doesn't change who she is, even though she changed maybe the genre of music or whatever. She's not actually changing who she is. And she is this modest girl. And she's always portrayed that she wants to be married. She's always portrayed that this is what she wants. She wants to be in a relationship. She wants to be married. She wants this family. She wants this great love. She's always, that's like, so she's still who she is, no matter whatever going around her. She's just like, she's kind of stayed the same person.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that.
I feel like I feel like it's a lot of closure in the album, because she brings up all of her tea. Like, it's like, let's get it all out and move on, because I think she is searching for even the religious undertones that we are getting to. People have to like work through their searches. I'm not saying like she's on a spiritual journey looking for a relationship with Christ. That's not what I'm trying to say. But she definitely is in some sort of, there's a lot of religious undertones and a lot of longing for that family. That's even more than I've heard on other albums. It's different for sure.
Yeah, she's processing, and I know people are hard on that part. I mean, and those aren't my favorite songs either. Like, I don't love the, God references at all. Those aren't my favorites. But but I mean, she's not someone who, it's not like Lauren Daigle and all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, what is she saying? Like, she's been singing all these Christian songs, and now what do we do? No, her music's never been like God honoring music. So I'm not like shocked by it. I feel like she's just works it out. She works her life out in her songs. That's what she does. And so sometimes that's going to be like, she's pretty ticked off at people of faith, it seems like. So fair enough. Yeah. Like, you want to work that out and you're going to make a dime while you do it. Good for you. But so
the Christian references. So Sean Feucht comes out with, and if you don't know who Sean Feucht is, he's some Bethel grifter.
That's my contribution.
Like the worst. Like, I do think, I will say, like, he came to Phoenix at the beginning of, I want to forget who I was at the beginning of COVID, because I'm
pretty sure I made fun of you. when you were like,
you don't even know me then, but you probably, I appreciate you making fun of me. Please call me on that.
You went to some event and I was like,
this was when I was still at the place though, that one.
Yeah.
The bad place.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was bringing worship. So here's what I knew, because I didn't know where he came from. I didn't know anything. Here's what I knew. He was on a beach doing worship. All I knew. Okay, now he's bold enough to bring it to the Tempe Beach Park, and he's not afraid of the closures or the shutdowns. Or I don't even think we're still in shutdowns at that point, but me, I was just whatever, wackadoo. And so I thought, oh, this is cool. Like, he's so bold. He went into Portland and there was like all this protest against him and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is what, let's stand up for the Lord. Okay. No, he's totally whacked out psycho grifter, and I'm whatever. So what are we going to do? Just like what all these other conservatives did with Mark and Pastor Lindell last week. And we're going to do this for clicks and clout. So for clicks and clout this week, Sean posted the fact that half of her album was explicit. So that's demonic. And good thing he doesn't have a camera in my house, or I am definitely demonic if swearing is a problem. I'm out.
He called, I didn't listen to him, so I'm sorry. He called swearing demonic?
Yeah. So the album is demonic because it was like half of the song, 17 of the songs are explicit, or 16 or something like that.
He circled E.
Yeah,
he circled
all the E's. I was like, well,
I don't know. So, like,
well, that was the beginning, and then he starts listing the lyrics.
Interesting correlation for Christians who swear. So that's demonic. All of a sudden, I'm just
right. I'm pretty sure he's friends with some pastor that we know that swears from the pulpit too. The swearing pastor.
Yeah. So I just was like, I don't understand that jump, but okay.
So anyways, there's this. And then he starts listing lyrics. Well, is he a fan of Taylor? Has he ever deciphered what she's saying? Does he know about analogies and just spiritual references? Like, he doesn't, there's no context to what he's saying. And coming from a believer that we are so hung up. I mean, there has to be context, especially when you're talking about the Bible. Like, don't take it out of context.
Yeah.
Don't take it out of context. We say this all the time. And well, I didn't see anybody freaking out this week about, what did Alex say? Martina McBride, roll the stone away. It's Independence Day.
Yep.
That's a Christian. I mean, not a Christian song. That's a little country song.
What did she say? There's Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't Adele have some stuff too about?
Oh, gosh.
How about, I love this song. I think it's slaps. Kids still say that. I don't know.
I don't think they do.
Do they not? Was that?
That was bad.
It does,
I have no idea.
It does. It's a great song, but it's called Holy Smokes. Nobody got up in arms about that. It's Bailey Zimmerman song. I think it's it's a cute song. But nobody went nuts. Nobody canceled him. So insane. So Kane Brown. Don't get me wrong, I'm a God-fearing man, but if you were a religion, then damn, I don't know what I'd do. Yeah, I might have to worship you. I might have to sing your praise. I might have to go to church every single night and day. This is Kane Brown. Nobody said a word about him.
That's his heaven song? Is that his heaven song?
I love Kane Brown. But nobody...
I do too.
I didn't even
they
think
don't say
about
anything about the
lyrics.
I do. I don't listen to that song because of that. But
sure, that's fine.
It does bother me.
Outrage?
But no one's outraged about it. I just
where was the outrage?
Well, that's the thing. I just choose not to listen.
Dean, blah blah blah. He sings a song called Heaven.
I just choose. You can quietly choose not to listen. That's what I do.
That's the point. That's the point.
If
that bothers me, I don't listen.
They're on a virtue signaling high horse.
Signaling. It's like
I don't never heard that term before. Unpack that term for me.
Oh, and there's enough to make the church look stupid right now. We don't need this to help us. We don't need any help right now.
Well, like one girl said in that Facebook group that we're in, she's like, it just makes me want to listen to it more.
Like, there was a youth pastor's wife. There was a youth pastor's wife that had written an article or written a post that we were reading the other day, and she's like, "This is like, people are coming out like, this is very inappropriate to be like, just even bringing this up, because well, number one, it's for clicks and clout, because now you have all these people. I have a person that I know that I love quite dearly, and their post was literally, thank goodness for a stand-up Christian. And I was like, I'm going to just shut up because it's not helping. And all I could do is put a laughing emoji on their post, because I was like, this is so asinine.
Who was the stand-up Christian?
Sean. They were saying Sean Foyt was a stand-up Christian. Now let me read you. There's a page on Instagram, the Berean Millennial. Okay. Let me read you what she posted yesterday. She does not agree with Taylor's lyrics. I'm going to promise you that. And she will probably, I don't even know if she listens, but here's what she says. And this is about Alex Clark, because Alex Clark very clearly called out all the hypocrisy, went through every song with the lyrics that Sean was talking about, and gave you all the context. I highly, highly, highly suggest everybody go and listen at least to part 2, the last 10 minutes. Nobody's clipped it out yet to like just make that a video, which I hope they do. Alex part 2. Can you hear me? Get on that. I'm gonna message you again today. She's the sweetest. Like, she's so fun to like have these conversations with. We text back and forth often, but here she says, and this is Katie, the Berean Millennial. She says, Alex is correct to call out the hypocrisy. Sean has likely done more mocking in the name of Christ inside the church than Taylor ever has. Sean regularly has participated in the gold dust signs and wonders hoax from Bethel. He was a participant in the 4-day raising Olive from the dead blunder. That was horrible. That's a whole nother podcast.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. He uses new age practices of numerology, dreams, and visions, encourages women in pastoral ministry. He holds healings and all kinds of emotional signs and wonders tours that are definitely more dangerous to the church. I think he's saying more dangerous than the...
That is, I mean, I agree with all the things she said, but she had to throw women.
You agree with you're not
under the bus.
Come on. And we don't. You and I don't agree on that. I don't think a woman should be a lead pastor. I do think women have a place in the church, just not a lead pastor. But anyways,
that was just a weird thing to put in with the like gold dust and raising someone from the dead.
I think it's just
I think she's just saying like these are all the things.
Like,
but
this is problematic for.
But I love that she says like he has done like his tours are more dangerous to the church, referring to more dangerous than her tours. Yeah. He is a part and helps promote massive false churches to the world that are caricatures of true Christianity. I could go on, but I'll leave it. Christians, we must be consistent. How do we do that? By rightly dividing the word of truth and abiding by it. And that is good. Like, hello. Yeah. Somebody has to say this. We've got to stop putting these jackasses on a pedestal that are not doing anything but here for clicks and here for dollars. Don't come at me when you're in a Super Bowl suite and you're on a private jet and you just bought your family property, big property in California, and all you wanted to do was be a humble servant of God on the beach in California during COVID. F off. You are a joke. Like, I am sorry. It's horrible, and it's literally making a mockery of the church. It makes me so mad. I'm so upset. Like, it makes me so mad. I'm as angry as I was last week with the debacle with Mark and John Lindell. And that was super aggravating to me, because it's making a huge mockery.
It's hard, like, because we spend, I feel like we're spending so much time attacking culture and attacking non-Christians. And I feel like scripture, that's not actually what scripture tells us to do. And it tells us to love our neighbor and pray for our enemies. And then what we need to be doing is, like, when there's sin in the church, like when Christians are doing these things, like, that's what we need to be looking at, and that's where we need to be calling our brothers to higher standards. But, like, it doesn't make sense to me, like, to try to, like, talk nasty about Taylor Swift, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, let it go, or just ignore it, or whatever. But like I was saying earlier, we had pastors this morning in a panel, and they're like, no, like, we need to love our neighbor, and like when our unbelieving friends are choosing sin, like it's okay to like talk to them about, like gently talk to them about choices, maybe what helps you flourish and what doesn't, but like constantly harping on sin for them, how is that bringing them to the Lord? Where when we talk to believers, like that's when we need to be more like accountable to each other. And it was just such an interesting, because I feel like all I ever hear is like about culture, and oh, so evil, blah blah. But like, what about all these people and all these churches who are doing like these crazy things that don't align with scripture at all? And we're just supposed to be like, oh, good job, like amazing. No,
Well,
like
there's
that's
been
what
a
we should be looking at, and
well,
not.
there's been a big call out on all these things in the last couple days. So sad that
Yeah.
it's taking. Maybe Taylor Swift is doing something for the church. Maybe because there's. I'm not being serious, but I'm not being serious, but
Yes.
it's creating a conversation. And I think it's an
Yeah.
important conversation. And if it takes a pop culture person to create the conversation, maybe that's not, I mean, I don't know.
I was so fat. I think like what I was saying this morning was so, I felt like so relevant to this conversation. Like one of our pastors saying, yeah, I'll marry 2 unbelievers. Absolutely. And then like, oh, sorry. My phone is ringing. And I won't say anything about them. We don't call them, like if they're living together, I don't not marry them because they're living together. They're unbelievers. But like if you have 2 believers, that's a whole different story. Like we'll call them to a higher standard. Like I was like, wow, I really appreciate what you're saying, because there's one that's walking alongside and loving them, and then like what the Bible actually tells us to do is, okay, call believers to accountability. And I just feel like we're somehow a lot of these people are really missing that.
Yeah, I have no idea how this demographic has once again made this all about themselves.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with them. If you don't like it, don't listen. Like it's not that hard.
And if you don't like the swear words, listen to the clean version.
I can't let my kids listen to this. Why are you letting your children listen to anything without you vetting it first? This is a 34-year-old woman. Nothing out of her mouth should be coming into your kids' ears without you vetting it first. That's insane to me. And you run it through the filter of what works for you.
Yeah.
But you don't. Taylor Swift stopped writing teenage, even her, I mean, there'd be people that vehemently disagree with her stuff when she was a teenager because it's about boys and this and that. And they're like, oh, come on, that does nothing for your life. Like, you know, whatever, just focus on other things.
Yeah.
That people continue to be like, well, my kids can't listen to this. They shouldn't have been anyways if that was where you stand. Like, that's so insane. It wasn't written for them. She's 34. What do you think she's going to talk about? That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know why you go to social media for that. Yeah,
that's my
thing.
You
don't need to say that on social media, because I'm making those decisions. I'm not like, oh, I wonder what Instagram has to say about what my kids should listen to.
Could you imagine going to the internet to tell people, like, this is a decision I'm making with my kids? Like, this is what I don't want my kids to do. No, like, what a weird.
We don't care.
I don't.
Or so-and-so said this. So therefore, this Christian influencer or this Jewish, Ben Shapiro, that's your source? Yeah. That's who you go to? Like,
no.
Who didn't even listen to the album? Yeah. Who judged without even listening to the album?
Listen to the album.
I don't know anything about her, and I didn't listen to the album.
It's a little clickbaity to me. Sounds like you just want to be in on the conversation, because if you know anything about searches or trending, this is their job. Anybody who doesn't comprehend that, like, I'm like, you do realize this is their job. This
is I can't blame them.
No,
for jumping on the Taylor train. It makes sense.
Yes, but they're
at least listen.
Commentary.
At least have an intelligent, like, that's how I feel. Like I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, so like there's a lot of things I'm not gonna comment on because I haven't listened. So
yeah,
right.
That doesn't make sense to me.
It's the whole thing. I'm just like, how did you guys spin this to be all about you again? How? It's not about you. It's not written for you. we actually don't care what you think. It's crazy. I'm sure she just sits back and laughs and is like, here we go. That's what the whole thing's about.
Literally,
All the way to the bank.
How many times, even to the Kardashians, don't come at me with your Christian chorus lines. I bet you never said one prayer for me.
Yep.
Don't clutch your pearls. Don't have to pray for me. Like, she literally is telling people, like, I don't stop. Like, I don't expect this from you, because the Christians are doing themselves no favors,
but also,
because they're not.
You didn't defend me when you saw that I was being attacked. You didn't defend me when I was being abused, but now you think you can judge me? That's literally what the whole thing was about.
It's interesting.
In anybody's, well, we talked about that. If anyone's ever experienced physical abuse, gaslighting, religious abuse, spiritual abuse, you name it.
Have you listened to Cassandra? And well, you don't listen to the words. You need to read the words to Cassandra, Julie. Yeah. You will really love them. I mean,
okay. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. I've probably listened to it, but I haven't really listened to it. Like, literally the only one that I can sing along with is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Which is it's literally one of the saddest songs on the whole album. I know, it is so good. Wow. So
I like it because it makes me think about, we went to her concert, and like that, that she can perform, that we saw that performance, and she was sad on the inside. Like, that makes me sad.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like that is such a good song just for that. Like, we do things and nobody knows how sad we really are.
That is great.
You move forward. And yeah, and I just like that it like shows like how she just moves forward, but also like that makes me sad that she's sad and she has to live this life, and then she's constantly being attacked when she's sad, and she's got to work things out, and like who in her life is like,
yeah,
I don't know, speaking into her, who's giving her wisdom, it's like I feel like she's working a lot of things out on her own, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, that was another mini jump scare, by the way.
Which one?
When she says the crowd was screaming more. Yeah, that was another one where I was like, oh yeah, it was really good.
And she's like, what does she say at the very end? She's like, and I'm miserable, and nobody even knows.
But she's so strong. She comes and she says, come on,
try to take my job. Or something.
Try and come for my job. At the end, I was like, okay, you are the best at it. Jolie, this is so relatable. Yeah. Sorry, everybody listening. This is more personal than whatever, but I'm sure anybody that's been through any sort of abuse can relate to this, because her lyrics are, when the first stone's thrown, there's screaming. In the streets, there's a raging riot. When it's burn the witch, they're shrieking. When the truth comes out, it's quiet. And that, to me, was like, oh my gosh, that is calling someone out on their crap, because it's a huge deal. And then the people end up leaving, and does anybody say anything? No. Once you figure out the truth about the person, no. They get their big time defenders and whatever. And when people figure out you're right, 0 words are said. Mm-hmm. Nobody comes back and it's like, oh my gosh, you were so right. You were right.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No crickets.
Nope. Haven't heard that in my life at all.
Right.
Ever, so.
Yeah,
that's what that whole song's about.
This song and what's the one on Evermore Midnight?
Which one?
I'm trying to think.
Not is it?
I can go anywhere but home.
Oh,
that one. I'm like, oh my gosh! And these two songs are like so like interwoven to me. Gosh, what song is that? You can go anywhere, you just can't go home. Yeah. I don't remember. Anyway,
but that's the lyric.
I think that's on Evermore. Is that not on
I think it's on Evermore. I can't think of what the name is. But yeah, those two are like, holy moly, because that's how I am with. I mean, I feel like this one has a lot to do with abuse, and then that one to me feels like that's what church feels like to me. It's home, and I just don't feel like I can go there. Like it's so funny how, and she'll say this, or an abusive home, anybody that's in that scenario. But it's like, it's so funny because she'll tell you too, like, I'm not going to tell you what the songs are all about, because you have to be able to, they're for you. You have to be able to relate to them.
Your
So when you say
interpretation.
your kids are like, Mom, you're too old for this, I don't think so, because I think I think that there's definite, she's smart. Like, you cannot be a dumb person and like Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. Like, or you have to have actually lived life. You can't just be scrolling on your phone and, you know what I mean, doing nothing and understand. Like, did you know what soliloquies meant before you listened to this album? Because I didn't. I was sitting there with Google out, and there was
that.
Well,
I
they said
feel
listen
like
to it with the dictionary.
Midnights. I felt that way about Midnights. I was like,
what are these
what do
words?
some of those words mean?
I was proud of myself.
I
that
don't
knew
understand
persona
what she's
non grata
saying.
meant. Like, that was, I was like,
Yeah.
I know what that means.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy though, but it's super fun. I know. I was like, what else do we got? Okay, I wanted to talk about Jack, the reel with Ben when it had Taylor. I'll post this one on our page too because it's so funny. I'll post it today. Did I send it to you, Julie? The one with
I sent it, but I listened to it with the sound off because I was.
Oh my gosh! Do you remember the episode of Friends where he's in the coffee shop and he's playing the piano? And it's all like it's like all the space sounds. Well, it has her like in the Fortnite video, like dreary and down and sad, and then it's like telling her about the album, and Jack's like, got it, and then starts playing all the songs that that was on Friends, and it's so funny because what are the songs? So Long London has a super space, like it's so depressing, and there's like synthesizer and space sounds in the back, and then I Can Do It With a Broken Heart has it, like
she always has Friends references.
Oh, it's
in her music.
So freaking hilarious.
It's funny how much
and then Down Bad is literally
about that show.
Beamed up into space.
That's literally what the song is about.
That's
funny.
What she's like.
Oh,
it's an interpretation of like you're being pulled into by aliens into another planet,
like a perfect world,
and then you go there and you love it, and they're like JK, and they drop you back into your reality. How are you supposed to move on from that? You just experience.
To be honest, I couldn't figure out what that song was about because I couldn't get past all the F words.
I will tell you, if you listen to Alex's analysis, you will love the album 100 times more.
Yeah. Okay. It makes more sense. Then you go listen to The One. Then you go listen to Cardigan. You can, things where we're like, we think we know what it's about, but now it makes it way more fun because you go back to these old songs and you're like, that's what was going on. That's who that's about. Crazy. She's so freaking prolific. The gift that she gives us of so much to work with is so fun. There's worse escapes out there. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah.
This is fun.
It's so fun. I think it's so fun.
And that's what art should do. It should help you go into their world.
Right.
Or
that makes sense.
Right? Like that's what it is.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's so good.
Some people don't like the Bolter. I love the Bolter. That's your freaking life. I listened to this and was like,
lyrics of the Bolter, and
I
love
have not listened to
I was like,
one.
I called Ashley when I heard the first time I heard the song. I was actually driving up to the golf tournament on Friday when I was listening to this, and this is Miss Ashley right here. But as she was leaving, it felt like breathing, and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's just so many lines.
She
in
says
here
that line again. When she's leaving, it feels like freedom or something.
Yeah, she's been breathing for 6 weeks or something in another
like
song.
that.
Yeah, it's so cool. That one's good. I'm obsessed with Cassandra. That's the one we just went over. The Prophecy is great. I think that
the sound of that song.
I think that people would take that one super wrong too. Like it's a fortune teller. Absolutely not. She's
into like the sorcerer, this, that, and she's in on the joke, you guys.
Well, it's super funny, but it's really, really sad because she's basically saying the cards that I was dealt, I'm stuck by myself.
Like,
can we all have different? Wait, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I guess they
Jolie
all have different songs. Because so like, does every album have a different song? Because now I'm looking at this one.
Okay, Jolie, I'll explain it to you. These were only the first 16 songs. There's no anthology album.
Because they didn't know it existed.
So you only
We're
have the first
talking about
16.
the second 15.
So the Bolter was a secret song, or like a bonus song, but it's really just on the second part. It's in the second 15.
Okay, so so when I have this album,
That's only the first 16 songs.
even though I have 2 albums here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just have 2 different bonus songs. You have Manuscript.
So they took all those bonus songs, and it's actually the second half of the album. Second,
and an
Oh, 'cause, yeah.
P.S. an
Because
anthology should be 3 albums. Just
Okay.
letting you know.
So I have to buy a whole nother thing.
Well, we're
Because-
agreeing. Are you agreeing with the third out? Do you think something else is
Something's
coming?
gonna happen.
Something else is
She was-
coming.
look what she
Okay.
just did us with kept giving us
So
peace signs, and it
confused.
went 2 albums. And then she
Because
dropped 4 pictures, right? 4 pictures?
5 on the
Taylor Nation.
Taylor Nation, yeah.
So one of my albums has the Bolter,
Yes.
and one of my albums has the Manuscript.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
those are
none of my
both-
albums have Cassandra.
No,
And none of
because
my
that's in
albums
the that was the 2 a.m. drop.
That's the thing that no one knew about, because they couldn't have been
Thank
putting
You,
that on albums because
Amy.
nobody could know about it. So that would have let the cat out of the bag.
Well,
So
I didn't
that
get
was-
I pre-ordered the album like when she first announced it. I pre-ordered it, and I
Yeah.
just got it Tuesday. I just got it in the
Wow.
mail Tuesday. So
Yeah.
she
So
could
she
have.
probably didn't. I'm
Because
sure.
So
that's
the 3 a.m. drop, I think for Midnights, those were never put on a vinyl either.
Which include like Thank You, Amy, like Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
The
The Bolter,
Oh,
but you have the
Bolter.
Bolter, but
Prophecy, the Manuscript,
Oh yeah, I haven't heard of those.
Black
That's a
Dog.
lot.
nope.
Isn't Black Dog on the second? I thought it was
Black
the
Dog
first
is
song on the
yeah.
second.
Yeah, first
Yeah,
song.
because it's not in here.
And they-
It's not in
I'm
here.
gonna
Which
get
is
you
an
back.
actual bar in London, and I'm so excited because we get to go
The Black Dog
Black
is
Dog.
also
in the
on
anthology.
Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's a
Well, that's
restaurant. It's a cafe on Martha's Vineyard. Black Dog.
that's funny.
Cool.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen those hats with the Black Dog on them? Have you ever seen those hats?
If I didn't know that's what it was.
I didn't either.
It's a cafe. It's like a cafe, and now they have a clothing store and the whole thing on like in New England.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Dog.
Now we have 2
Are we
places to go.
sure that we think
Yes,
this is
positive.
London, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, positive it's them. Yeah, there was a whole article on it. And Peter, which is it's okay. It's like it's a continuation
that song.
of
What's the song?
that whole
It's
all
talking
3 of
about
those songs.
Peter Pan, which is like we said we were gonna get back together when you grow up. You're Peter Pan. You're not growing up.
Basically.
And I'm done waiting at the window for you. I'm done being Wendy. And that
See, I
now
haven't
we
heard
know
that.
her.
I didn't even know that. I've never heard
Yeah.
that song.
It's okay.
Maybe
I
that's
don't that's one of my I could throw it away for sure.
I mean,
I
I'm
hate
gonna
it
be
here is
honest.
interesting.
Oh,
I
I,
was
love
so-
I hate it here.
Don't know that one either.
That
Is
one,
must be-
they're talking about like that
Dude, there's
escapism
a
of
lot
like
of songs.
I want to like this place sucks and I just want to go read a book and get out of here. Like
So you can't
sucks.
buy the new album? Is that what you're saying?
Not yet, but
We
we
don't
don't think
know.
she's done. We think there's
Okay.
something coming out on May 3rd.
Oh,
yeah.
And then maybe.
So the 2 Travis songs for sure is So High School and The Alchemy. And I
I
now
did hear
remember
that.
I heard a leak of Alchemy without it came on my Instagram a long time ago. And I was like, these lyrics are not real.
I didn't.
But they are.
I'm actually not into either of those songs. Either of the Travis. They're not in my top by any means.
I like the lyric in So High School about his in the blink of a crinkling eye, because when he smiles, he's pretty well known for his little crow's feet that are so cute. And I was like, that's such a cute little anecdote about your person. Like that's sweet. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very specific. He
It's
wasn't
fun.
hiding it. Which I love. You like Clairbeau.
I love Clarabelle.
It's about an it girl. It's
that
like the
one.
original
Yeah, I
It
do
Girl.
know that. Actually,
Yeah.
I do know that song
And then
because I know
it's-
I
clarify
love
what it is.
any song when she's very self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Taylor is very self-deprecating, and it's tons of awareness that somebody's going to come and I'm
Be
going to
the
be the
next
old
hit
lady
girl.
at some point, and they're going to move on. And I love her nod to Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
It's so great. It's so great.
And she knows it about herself. They're like, but you're better. You have more edge. She knows that about herself. I'm sure that's the criticism she's gotten a million times, is like, we wish you were more edgy.
Mhm.
Which, back to what you were saying,
Yeah.
Julie,
With
she's
the
like, but I
modesty.
am who I am.
Mhm.
Yeah, she just is who she is. I don't like it.
It's good.
She's
Really
like, I'm
like it.
not trying to be edgy.
And you really like
I love Down
Ge-
Bad.
you-
I love unpopular opinion, apparently.
very.
Except Alex and I agree on this.
It's an age thing.
Love Sexy Taylor. I want Guilty as Sin, False God,
Oh yes, yeah.
Dress, this, like,
And I'll fast forward them.
and I will.
Me too. I don't like it
revisit.
at all.
I love them.
I love the sound of Guilty as Sin, but I'm like, ooh,
The
just
lyrics I don't
word.
like.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, guys, don't overthink it.
I just don't like it.
Being married for a minute, man, if it doesn't make you go into, like, don't listen. This is not, I'm talking about you guys, but if people have like temptation issues or whatever, don't listen to that stuff. But if it gets you just a little bit spicy for your husband, I don't see a problem.
well, there's nothing wrong with it, but
There's no problem with that. I don't. That's not. I
If
just
it's not your
Mm-mm.
no, but I mean,
But-
Alex Clark and I both were like sweating.
Yeah.
She goes there, but it so
I feel like
think if
that's
you
too
don't-
personal to talk about.
Yeah,
Like
I
that
don't-
that one,
Nope,
keep
that's
it in your
dumb.
keep it in your journal. Like that's my opinion, but
that's me too. I'm like,
But
oh,
what
that
am
was
I?
too much
I don't know,
information.
so-
No, thank you.
I love it.
And
she's like, this is my top songs. I'm like, thank you. Somebody's gonna say it. But those are often deep tracks. They don't usually make it unless you like. What was another one?
I don't think she would put that out like as a single. She would never play it on. And I know that she just wouldn't go. I don't think that's. I think she put it out, and she's like, "Yes, I'm older now. Maybe that's more of a nod to being her age or whatever." But I don't think she'd go there with it. You like I look in people's windows, and we love that.
I love I look in people's windows.
That one's fun, and I think that somebody that. Yeah, like not taking it literally. It's basically like I'm scrolling on Instagram and stalking you. Like I just want to see what's going on in your life, and it's not.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
not
looking
really
at the
looking
table to see if you're there. I'm looking at the Christmas party.
I'm like, I can even relate to that as a mom because I'll watch my kids' friends' Instagrams to try and catch a glimpse of what my kids are doing, like prom night, like who's posting on Snapchat. Like I just want to see, like, are they having fun or whatever? And I'll scroll through. It's so I think even that crosses the lines of relatability where I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best lyrics. I think it's the best sound.
Yeah, the sound
For
is
me,
fun.
the sound is
Okay.
the best. I think it's my favorite sounding.
Mhm.
So It Goes is another hot one. Very spicy. And people don't. Again, these are deep. People don't like it, kind of like comes in and out. You don't really notice it, but if you dig in, you're like, woo, that's.
I definitely played it. I mean, I played it like down when I drove, but music becomes such white noise for me that I'm like, don't. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Florida. I told you.
I have
the
heard that
lyrics
one, yeah.
or the sound or both?
It's got to be this. Well, it's Florence and the Machine. Hello. Could she just put out an album? I'd probably be more obsessed with that than Taylor. Like Florence is so, she's just one of those voices that it's
Chills.
haunting. Like, yeah, it gets in your head. I love Florence. She's so artistic. Like give me the weirder, the better. That's how I am with movies, music, all that stuff. Like I just love she's creepy. I love her so much.
Fortnite. Has it grown on you?
Oh yeah. I love
She
Fortnite.
didn't like Fortnite.
I didn't like Fortnite being. I was meh about a lot of the album the first time I listened with Ben. It was more of the. I think the little things that took me back, like my mini jump scares, were cool about the album because it felt boring to me the first time I listened to it.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
More
Then
posty.
I was really sad that Posty didn't have more of a but he has a whole bridge, and if you watch the music video.
Oh, that was something else we did.
It'll change.
We watched the music video
and it
when
changes
it went live.
Yep, we were there right
We were
when
there.
it went live, and it.
I did watch it last night. Lucy
It's
played it
so
for me.
good, huh? It's
But-
so good.
Yeah,
I love.
Brooklyn was
it's
sweating.
kind of weird.
She was
You
like,
thought it was weird?
Yeah, Yeah, it's really weird.
It's supposed to be weird. She's not doing.
Yeah.
It's actually not that weird. Once you like, once you pull it apart, it's like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like, yeah, the reference to the Dead Poets Society.
I was
I love that. Yeah, I do love Dead Poets Society.
And did you see that? Like Ethan Hawke and what's his name? I can't remember.
The other
I can't remember either. But they both posted on
when they were
in the air.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Cute.
Yeah, it's just darling. It was that I think that was so fun that she did that and used them in the video.
It even gives like Queen's Gambit, like
totally
all the references.
Totally.
But you liked it more. At first she's like, it's not enough post. I don't like it. And then we watched the video. She was like, I'm obsessed.
Well, what I figured out was their voices blend so much that I didn't really notice how he really did have a lot of song. It was just so beautiful when you put them together. And when you watch it again, notice all the people in black sitting in the room are dressed as Kim Kardashian at the Met Gala when she went in all black.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
There's some crazy and then it's pieces of old music videos, like her with her bun in her hair. And then them laying on the ground. There's a reference to one of Maddie Healy's music videos. It was a picture of him there. And then I am convinced that the hug between her and Posty is a nod. That was exactly the scene from Harry Potter's parents. Like, it's crazy. If you go back and watch, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same
they're
video.
Playing like
it almost looks like a fever dream or something. Like this didn't even happen. And that is a nod to her song too. Yeah.
Yeah. But
when it's Posty with no tattoos on his face.
It's
he looks weird. That's what the other thing too.
And Posty is the part of Maddie.
Yeah,
right?
Posty's Maddie in the video. But
kind of like I saved you out of this insane asylum. You're going crazy, but I was here. And then he's the one that like busts her out, pulls the plug so she's not being electrocuted, gets her out.
Oh, okay.
And they're like free in this dress in the rain. And so when you think about the lyrics like that, he's singing the part of Maddie.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's so cool. The video is so cool.
Very artistic.
That was my favorite, was the nod to Kim.
Oh, and that she's wearing a morning dress.
Yes. That's what
very interesting.
The black one, yeah. And it's funny to me now looking back, like looking at the Grammys at her dress and then Lana Del Rey's dress, like, and they were saying in the Albatross, and Albatross is a bird with all white and then black wings. The tips of their wings are black. And at the Grammys, she wore a white dress with black gloves on.
Wasn't this
like
also
everything?
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah.
Of 19.
Oh, yes, they were in the video too, because there was a whole tour they did in lab coats and the 1970s. It's just
the
crazy. Like, I don't even know how her brain goes there. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I can't believe she's so freaking brave.
Yeah.
Like, that's bold.
Yeah. Well, I'm not singing about the Kardashians. I'll tell you that. Somebody asked.
I think she does whatever she wants. What does she care?
Oh, I get that. But those two are
like,
still scary. I mean, the
wild.
Kardashians are a powerhouse. I wouldn't come at either of them. Somebody. Gosh,
I wouldn't go after Ye. I mean,
no, that's why.
But that's not the first time she's written a song about him.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's crazy.
She's just bold as heck, and it's.
Yeah, I think she just doesn't. She doesn't care at all.
Yeah,
that's what she wants, and
which is awesome for us to get.
She's always been that way. Yeah.
I think to benefit from it.
I think the funnest part of the album is she's like, this is what I lived. This was my story. I'm closing it down. It's not mine anymore.
It's
Here,
yours.
you can have it.
Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where
I think we know where this is going. First of all, can we just mad respect that Travis is man enough to handle this coming out? That would be very hard on a lesser man to handle these lyrics about. I mean, obviously he knew what he was getting into.
Well, I have a billion reasons that he doesn't give a crap.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, those are her dollars. She's a billionaire. You can do it. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Well,
you either love him, you either love her crazy, or you don't.
Well,
then
it's like there's no secret. You knew what you were signing up for.
Oh, for sure.
Then you're still a human, and that you're that you have enough like respect and love and admiration that you're like, you do you. This was written before we even knew each other.
He likes about her.
I do too. That's
He
what I'm
likes
saying.
the
like,
weird. He likes
Yeah.
the weird, the roller coaster. He feels
Yeah.
that like that kind of person. Like he
He
likes
can
that.
handle
He
it.
likes-
I'm like, good for you, bud. Like, but I think she's already writing the new one.
yeah.
The next one. She's always writing.
Yeah.
But I think that the close down was like, I am done. I am over it because I'm moving into the relationship I'm going to be in permanently. Like, I'm not bringing my exes. I'm not bringing my old grudges. I'm not bringing, ugh. And so why not put out 31 songs, get it out, get it over with. You're done.
Yeah.
You're moving
That's
on.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because I do think, I mean, fingers crossed.
Did we make you like want to dive in and listen more?
No.
I mean,
Cute.
a little, but
Awful.
no, I'll just, not that I don't, I just like, I know that I will. It's the same way I was with Midnight. It's the same way I've been like,
Take it in slow. I'm totally
I didn't listen to the whole Folklore and Evermore till, gosh, years later.
I had nothing else.
Like-
But she doesn't. But the woman doesn't miss a concert. But you don't. Like you're.
No,
so
I've not missed.
faithful in your
I've
own
seen
way.
I've seen every tour. I see her live. I like her music. I listen to her music. But like I'll go back on the Evermore, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Have I ever heard that song? Like the girls will play something. I'm like, dude, I remember that song. But
Yeah.
because I just don't really.
That much.
It's a lot of music, and when you're not really a music person, like eventually I'll get around to it. I also like. I'm not like as interested in all the like things that I wonder what she's trying to say. Like, I mean, I knew the group 1975 because I've listened to some of their music, but the girls had to remind me like so many times who Maddie Healy was. Like, who's he again? And why are they together? Like, don't get it.
It wasn't for
Don't-
very long.
You have 3 built-in or 4, but 4, right? Of your girls are total Swifties, or all 6 of them are.
5? No, not
5.
Yeah,
no.
my oldest.
So
isn't-
you
I-
have 5
isn't, but-
built-in Swifties to do the deep dive for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to do the deep dive. You
You
could probably just
no.
ask a question and you're like, there.
I'll just
Okay.
ask a question.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
like I said, like I said something about that. Oh, isn't that funny about that "Thank You, Amy" song? Blah blah. And they were like, "Mom, that's not what it's about." And I was like,
Okay.
"Well, I thought I had that one figured out." And they're like, "No, it's about this girl, and it's like this." And I'm like, "Hey," and like I
Don't
had
tell
thought I
Dave
had.
Portnoy that you'd break his heart.
Oh,
I know.
Dave
I know.
Portnoy
He's so
will not take that. He will rebuke that.
he's so excited about that.
you
That
Oh
was
my gosh.
so fun.
of the whole
I did
thing.
watch that. That was
That's what I woke up to.
Oh
That's what I woke up
my
to before I even knew there was a second
You were
album.
like,
And I
"This
was
is
like,
yeah.
I cannot believe I just woke up to this. It was so great.
His
That was funny.
ranking of the songs, I loved. I was actually like, yeah, I think you
He
might nailed it.
he is the
And
funniest.
It was the day of. I was like, how?
Yeah, it is impressive
That's
watching.
funny.
him.
It was so
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
great.
I just.
Well, you'll have to
I-
do some posting on you'll have to give us maybe in a week or 2.
Yeah,
We'll
let
post
us
on
know.
the Instagram,
Sure.
Jolie's top 5.
Yeah,
We're giving
she's
you
I will.
2
there.
weeks
Okay.
to give us
Okay.
Jolie's top 5.
Okay, I can do it. Yeah.
But
All
mark
right.
my words,
Yeah.
the next album, if you guys don't like Guilty as Sin and you don't like those sexy songs, I don't think they're ready for the next album. Because that chemistry and whatever is happening with Trav right now, I'm telling you.
No, she'll write about that
has
as
a-
much as you think she will.
Ashley is a boyfriend you haven't even been in a relationship for a year, so you're a spice
You're in
girl,
a-
right?
I
You're
am.
in
I'm
space there,
I'm
girl.
living similar,
Yeah, you're in
like
that right
we're
now.
in that. But that's true.
Yes.
But so is she. So I can only imagine what she's
Yeah,
writing.
but she doesn't. She'll do a couple, but
Yeah.
she's
I don't know
not
what
dumb.
else she's gonna talk about.
Everything.
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 Who knows? We didn't know that she had
I mean, Well, she could write a song about being at the
broken
Super
heart
Bowl.
situation.
You
Well,
never
that's the
know
thing.
what
If you could write about mopping a room and it would be good.
I mean,
too.
who? I mean, I felt like that Maddie Healy relationship was there and then gone before I even figured out who exactly he was.
Yeah.
It
And she
was, but then you
has
find out
all
they
these-
had about 3 different
Stints.
stints, and he was kind of the friend
Yeah,
that was always
Yeah, they've been friends for a while. Yeah.
We didn't know that. No, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
I did know that. I did know that they've been friends for a while. Yeah, I did know that.
I mean, I guess I didn't know
But-
how no one knew you were gonna get 20-something songs out of it. That's a toxic
a lot.
Yeah.
situation.
That seems. But like, you know, she was in the relationship with Joe for so long, and there's not like, I don't feel like there's like songs that I'm like, ew, no, thank you.
She was quite generous to him in her lack of.
Well, they
Yeah,
think now
they were just
Midnight
very private.
is about it
Mhm.
more than they
Well,
ever.
Midnight's,
thought.
yeah, but Midnight's was over the course of most of her career. Those are songs that she wrote at midnight. Like those weren't, a lot of those were vault songs too. That people, I think people forget that those aren't just, those were written.
Which one came out?
Over
I can't remember
a
the
lot
order.
of
Was it
years.
Evermore, Folklore. Which one was around? Not Lover. Which one was it? Folklore or Evermore came out first or second? One of them.
Folklore, I think, came out first, and then Evermore.
So now they're thinking what we thought was going to be this album about Joe. If you go back, you start to see the
digression.
Yeah, in Evermore.
That's when she was writing about it more. So it was there. We just didn't
like tolerate it, and
yes,
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, that's for sure about him.
Yeah.
So
yes,
But she did not get a Smallest Man Who Ever Lived or an All Too Well. Or Joe did not get anything like that, which was
no.
honestly, he was probably too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
just
fine. Boring's
yeah.
not bad. She
Yeah.
probably needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Ben dislikes anybody on the planet as much as Jake Gyllenhaal. So this, you know what I mean? Like, she did a good job with that one. I'm kidding, but
She did, but I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I
Oh,
Jake
he's on my
Gyllenhaal.
I do. And you know who
list.
else we were talking today is that
Oh,
nothing can make us dislike John Mayer. We love John
No,
Mayer.
I do like John Mayer.
Him.
Mhm.
But
No,
we
but-
also have the ability to separate art from artists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I
not.
liked
we're not
his
canceling
music.
his art, but he is.
No, but
I love
yeah,
John.
that's how I feel about Jake Gyllenhaal. He's so cute.
He is. He is so
and
cute.
I like him.
I know.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and we don't like 30-year-old him dating a 20-year-old, but we can.
Well, that's just gross.
People make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's John Mayer too. Like, wasn't she 19 and he was like
Very,
ew.
very.
This is another John Mayer deep dive is reading Jessica Simpson's memoir. He is
Yikes.
a nightmare.
Oh.
Girl, stop dating John Mayer and stop dating Maddie Healy. And when they do terrible things to you, they already told you. They warned you. Halsey warned everybody already about Maddie, and nobody listened.
Also, he's not good looking.
I don't think so either.
Of her men have been that good looking.
And him with his wine bottles on stage, like just looking like he just looks
Yeah,
like
he just-
a junkie. And it's like,
because he
Yeah.
I know he is, but
He's
it's
sober now.
so-
Somebody just said
yes,
he's
he is sober now,
at the
but-
moment.
but-
But aesthetically,
it's not fun to look at.
He does not.
Well-
I don't find him attractive at all.
she's.
So.
Okay.
I
This
don't-
was
that
was fun.
this-
I have
I
to pee.
gotta pee too.
So I think we'll end it there. Yeah, we have
Oh my
our
gosh, yes.
Well, anyways,
basic
it's a
white
great
girl.
album, guys.
Go listen
Yeah.
to it.
Go
tell
listen.
us your opinions on the Instagram. And we'll put up Jolie's top 5 in the next week or two. That's your job.
That's your research.
Okay,
That's your
I can
homework
do it.
right now.
I can do it.
Okay.
now
we'll
I
see
need
you
a nap,
guys-
but okay.
I know, right? We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. See ya.
Bye.